Hello and welcome back to the Backlog Busting live streams. The second one I'm doing. I'm really excited to keep working on my Adeptas Sororitas because when I was taking these pictures earlier today for this thumbnail, I was really shocked at how nice they were looking. So I'm super excited to keep going. So let's do it. I can't believe that I only did 3.5 cloaks in the whole 2 hours that I was with you guys last time. I'm shocked. I thought it would be a little bit more in 2 hours, but I was having a lot of fun painting and talking that I really did not work nearly as fast as I usually do. But usually I have a podcast or an audiobook or something like that going on, and I can just focus super intensely on what I'm doing. But I want to make sure that I get a little bit more done today. Although there's no rush to finish painting my sororitas, I just, for my birthday, I ended up getting one of the tanks, and I just really want to finish them because out of all the 40k armies, they're the ones that I play the most. Although the Tyranids are really growing on me. Oh my gosh. Hello everyone. Hello from the UK. 1 a.m. is incredibly late, and I can't do that, but thank you for joining me at this dark hour for you. And yes, I agree. I just usually do a little bit more on a mini. Maybe I paint fast, but for 2 hours, having done just a cloak was, you know, a little bit slower for me, but maybe I paint too fast. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. However, I think the method of doing dark and then working my way up was doing really well last time. So we're gonna keep at that and keep going. I definitely need a little bit of a confidence boost painting these guys because the last thing I was working on, which you guys will see on Friday, that video, I'm almost done with it. I really don't like how they turned out at all. So I'm hoping this will reassure me that, you know, maybe it was something else and not my painting skills. I think if I remember correctly, I did 2 coats of this and then would go to the regular red on these edges and then go in with like an orangey red at the very tip. Ooh, you've been going through Brandon Sanderson. I mean, it's hard to beat that one, really. I know that the latest book has just finished being written and it's with his editors right now. I actually follow him a lot because I really like all of his books. Is this blurry? There we go. But in terms of other things to read, if you like sci-fi, I've been trying to get a lot of people into this lately, but it's a novella series called The Murderbot Diaries, and I think they are really, really good. They're super action-packed. I really like the perspective that it's from. It's from someone who calls himself Murderbot, and it's just really good, fun sci-fi. And the audiobooks are good too. I think it was just picked up by Amazon, I'm going to say, for them to do a TV series with one of the Skarsgårds being the Murderbot. So I'm really excited for that to come out, and I hope it's good because Amazon has, let's just say, questionable adaptations most of the time. And I'm thinking of the Lord of the Rings one as I say this because that one really hurt. But we'll still watch season 2. Yeah, I think it's definitely worth checking out. I tore through those books. And when I say tore through them, I mean like it's 7 novellas and I read them in 3 days, I'm going to have to say. Read/audiobook. I started with the audiobook and then liked them so much that I got the ebook tore through it. But to be fair, they are novellas. They're small, except for one of them is a full-length one. But the rest of them are smaller versions. So yeah, definitely check it out. But I've been also on a sci-fi kick lately. So I've been really in the mood for good sci-fi. So if anyone has any good sci-fi recommendations, let me know. Oh gosh, I'm rushing this and we're not letting it dry. Okay, gotta let it dry for a little bit. This keeps blurring. Hold on. Let me change this to manual focus. Okay, hopefully that's a little better. Get out of my way. Okay. Still immediately regretting basing these guys before I painted everything. Okay. Let's let that dry. I have 3 more that I haven't even started. And then these 3 are like 3/4 of the way done, but I did their cloaks before. But look at the difference. Like, this was one of the first ones I've ever painted in my life. I painted those Tau in purple and red, and then I started painting these guys. So these are, you know, one of the first models I ever painted. And now I'm super happy with that cloak on this one. It's really cool to look back at the things you've painted and see progress. I think it really motivates you to keep painting. Smack my mic cable. Oh god, that was probably loud. Maybe it's my hair, you know? My hair ends up touching the mic. So I'm gonna pick it up. Let me know if that helps. An incredible audiobook of Roadside Picnic. I've never heard of that one. Is it also sci-fi? Oh, it's still going? Let's see. Hello? Oh, awesome. Thank you. It's so hard to tell on this side, you know? So I appreciate it. Oh. Okay. Does this sound a little better? Maybe. No worries. Thank you for stopping by. I hope I get this mic fixed. You know, my whole studio is right next to my AC unit. And I'm really hoping that it's not just the AC unit being really, really loud, even though I try to have as much soundproofing as possible. Oh, that may have been too dark. I'll go in with a little bit more red. Okay. No, you definitely don't want to hear me sing, and I promise not to. But I'll look at it for next time. Thank you for letting me know, though. I'm still trying to get the hang of this setup for streaming, because I really enjoy doing this. Okay, cool. I'd also love to hear if you prefer it here on YouTube or if Twitch is easier. I figure, you know, keeping everything in one place is just a lot simpler for everyone. But if Twitch is actually easier for you guys, I can do it there too. Or instead, really. Okay. Yeah, that's easy for me as well, if it works for you guys. So you were saying that it was a sci-fi classic, Roadside Picnic. Okay, I will check that out because I love older classic sci-fi, like Asimov, or something like The Forever War. If you guys ever read that, that one is really, really good. So I'm down for some classic sci-fi. Okay, awesome. Everyone likes YouTube. YouTube it is. That's easy for me too. I still haven't gotten a new black. I need to soon because this I think is just too, I think it's just too clear, really. Like it doesn't have enough pigment. And it's very shiny. Very, very shiny, unlike this one. So this is one of the older ones that I did in a more matte color. This is the newer one. It's very shiny. I'm not sure if there's any way possible to unshiny it. I don't think there is. So this is gonna look probably more like a faux leather than like cloth. But I kind of like the whole idea that the Sisters of Battle are like these leather leather sci-fi nuns. We'll just call it that so that it matches more. See, if the paint doesn't work for you, you can change it so that it does in your own headcanon. All right, I will let that dry, and I didn't miss that this time because that's definitely got to be red. Let me go back to this. I think I made this red too dark. I'm probably gonna have to do a mix of red with just like a tiny bit of black to do a middle shade and then a high shade. I don't know if that happens to you guys often, where when you stop in the middle of a like a paint session and then you try to pick it back up and you don't get the exact paint the same way. That happens to me more than I would like. So I have not read any of the Games Workshop books, and the ones I'm most interested in are the Horus Heresy. I feel like that's such a compelling story, you know, of like betrayal and, you know, war, and it's much more personal, because I really like more personal stories than grand epic stories, if that makes sense. Like I like connecting to the people, and I feel like that would be the best story to do that in the Warhammer universe. Unless, of course, I'm wrong and I'm missing out on some really good Games Workshop stories. But no, I have not, and I have been interested in doing it for a while now. Do you have any recommendations? Oh. All right, let's just go straight to the next color. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll check them out. I don't know whether to just, even if there is an order to read them or not. I know that there's so many books that I want to make sure that I'm starting at a place that makes sense. Oh gosh, you're gonna make me have to go back into this chat and pull out like a notepad to write down all these recommendations, because I'm gonna forget. Okay, there we go. I'm getting red all over the space, but that's okay. Just a little bit more. Okay, and then now, oh, my orange. Wait, 60 Horus Heresy books? Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know. That is overwhelming. All right, I need at least a top 5 best ones, unless you have to read them in order. But there's no way that it's 60 books in order. I can't believe that. Just a little bit of orange to brighten it up. Oh, here, so you guys could see my palette. Not that there's much going on, it's just red and orange, but just to brighten that edge right there. It's my favorite part, is highlighting. And then do this edge. Is that too orange? Or am I just seeing things? No. That's right, maybe just a little bit more red in between. Like this edge looks good in orange, but it needs like more red, I think, right there. Okay, I think I need to do probably a lot more Horus Heresy research, but that's okay. I kind of wanted to dig deeper into it, so I I can at least find a read order online. I'm sure they have it. There we go. Okay. You're done, miss. The black on this one is still drying, but there's some places that I, of course, missed. Like this right here. Guard versus Tau. Now that sounds interesting. I always thought the Tau were neglected and that nobody liked them. So it's cool that there's a book. We were also talking about general sci-fi. So if you've got any good sci-fi recommendations, you can throw that into the mix. I was talking about how my most recent sci-fi book favorites are a mini-series or a novella book series called The Murderbot Diaries. And I recommend everyone check it out. This was dry, but maybe not. Maybe it was too soon. All right, I'm for sure coming back with a notepad and I'm writing down all your suggestions. I love having new books on my to-read list, honestly. Now, are there any good ones with Necrons? Because I feel like Necrons would be a really fun thing to read about, like either their history or maybe when they first awoke and people found them or something like that. That sounds pretty cool. Sometimes my hands get shaky, and I feel like it only happens occasionally where I'm like, and I can't do it. I feel like I'm having this moment right now. Let me see. There we go. I don't know, it just happens occasionally where I focus too hard and next thing you know my hand is shaking like crazy. The Infinite and the Divine. Man, there's so many books that I haven't heard of, and I thought I knew a lot of sci-fi books. That's exciting, though. Okay. That looks spotty there. I definitely need a second coat. And I'm just gonna have to shove this brush into the back here to hopefully get something. Now for Firefly, you're talking about the same Firefly as the show and the movie? Yes, sci-fi fantasy crosses do sound good, and that does sound interesting. I'm down for anything fiction, really. I like all things that are not of this world. When I read, I want to be transported somewhere totally different. And cool, if it is the same, then I didn't even know that they had comics and books. I watched the show and just recently watched the movie, actually, which is funny that you guys bring it up. I watched it maybe a month ago now. Very good. Very sad. Very good. Oh gosh. Okay, so if you look at her like this, how obvious is it that the back of her cloak is not painted? Don't look at her boots. They're covered in red. We're gonna go back over it in white. I don't think you can tell. So we're just gonna leave it. Okay, we'll let that dry. Let me find some white to sort of fix that. Oh, well, I feel like books, like especially sci-fi from that time, having like, yeah, like it reads so different. It reads of that time, and the tech is always not really the same as what we have now, but sort of close sometimes, which I always find super interesting, is how they thought that the future technology would look like, and either how like completely different it is or how similar they ended up thinking about it. Like sometimes they just completely don't realize that one of the biggest and easiest things we figure out how to do is, you know, transfer data really quickly, like through the internet or like phones and streaming and things like that. But they've got other things that are actually extremely difficult for us to do that they thought was one of the first things that would be discovered. It's one of my favorite things of reading older sci-fi. Yeah, exactly. I want flying cars. I agree. I want automatic cars so that I don't have to drive ever again. There's no more traffic because everyone is in their AI-driven car or whatever. So it's always interesting how people perceived technology back then. All right, let's see. This one's a little different. This one has like a divot right there. So I don't know if I should leave the divot dark or just do the whole thing and then only do the edges with the more orange toned. But I think it looks weird open like that. Maybe I'll just do one layer of the red and then 2 layers here and here, maybe. Oh, well, yeah, I definitely know AI will take over the world, and it'll either be Skynet or much worse. Skynet, The Matrix, you name it. But I at least just don't want to drive my car anymore. I hate driving. And in the United States and in where I live in particular, you have to drive. And I hate it. Okay, that kind of works. Yeah, exactly. Something like iRobot. Okay. I don't know if I want to do it. I think I'm just going to do the edge, this edge with the orange highlight. I'm debating getting the like magnifying like headpiece, because sometimes I'm like, I just want to go like this, but then, you know, my whole head will cover the screen. So I want to be able to paint from like here while still seeing as if it's here. And I feel like the glasses are the way to go, but I've been too scared to commit. And then imagine me streaming with like these giant goggles on and my eyes looking 3 times the size. I think it'd work. I might. How am I supposed to highlight, you know, this girl's eyebrows if they're less than a millimeter? Unless I have the magnifying goggles. Ooh, with a flexi arm sounds good. That's a good point about the whole corporation and tech sort of connection, how one really influences the other. It's why I like the Murderbot Diaries so much, because they do go into that. But it's modern, so they, you know, the modern author obviously sees that more than they did back then. All right. On to one of my favorites. She's so cool. Oh man, but it's black. Yeah, I don't have any other black. I actually had to throw away the paint dropper because it was bone dry. Nothing left. Do it. Paint them. Paint everything. That's hopefully what the stream is gonna help everyone do. Spend some time hobbying if they feel like they don't want to. And you can just listen to me ramble about sci-fi books while you paint something. I agree that the movie was completely different. I feel like they almost just took the title in order to make their own sort of sci-fi movie and then made something else that wasn't iRobot. But nowadays, anything that's adapted, I just wait for the inevitable disappointment. The only thing that hasn't disappointed me so far, which I don't think it will for the last one, is Dune. Those movies are finally doing a sci-fi book justice. And hopefully we'll bring back a sci-fi renaissance or something. So everyone knows they need it. That's okay if you're too tired, and thank you for coming anyway. It's more just to, encourage you in any time that you can do it. But obviously, if you're exhausted, all it's going to do is, I feel like, show in your painting. And you want to be, proud of it in the end. So paint what you can when you can. And we're all here to cheer you on. But Necrons, that's really exciting. Necrons are, I feel like, have really interesting looking models. Although I recently saw some of the old, what are they called? I think they're called Terminators. We have one of the older versions here. And they look like these giant, almost like mechs. They've got these really wide shoulders and they're really cool. I still haven't done the other half of Leviathan either. I've got all of those Space Marines still not even built in the box. But I've got a plan for those probably during the holidays. Because I don't want my lion, Noel Johnson, to be alone. So I might make them Christmas themed. So I've just kept putting them back, pushing them back. The Death Gate cycle. Interesting. Okay, an illustrated screenplay. I will definitely take a look. But yeah, I'm using this time right here to get through these Adeptas Sororitas, but I've still got more Night Haunts to work through. And I actually still have some older Tyranids to go through that I want to do in my orchid style, but there's still just so much to paint. And I completely ran out of pink after doing that whole series and the whole army. I have no more pink bottle either. So it's been sort of playing catch up with everything. Ugh. This black. Will what be a video personal project? I feel like I said so many things to paint because I have so many things to paint. If it's the Christmas Space Marines, those will definitely be videos because I feel like it'd be really fun to try and come up with some sort of paint scheme for them. Oh, awesome. Maybe it was Lizard of Doom I really love his stuff, and he's a cool guy. So maybe from his channel, because that's where the competition first sort of started. Oh, nice. You guys got the Skaventide box. I feel like I'll always like the more monstrous minis, like the Skaven. Although the Stormcast are really cool looking. I will be honest. Usually, human models don't interest me as much. It's like why I like the Adeptas Sororitas is because I think their tanks are really, really cool, and just like their whole motif for like humans. And the Stormcast are also really cool looking. The Shaven clan rats. Was that a typo, or do you mean that? Because they do look pretty naked, mole rat-ish. Some of those models have no fur. I'm sure Games Workshop just wanted everyone to work on their textured looking, you know, like learn how to make fur on a flat surface, you know. They want you to do your freehand. I'm sure that's why they did that. And that is really, really cool that you do that with your husband. I hope you guys battle off against your two armies once they're all painted and ready to go. I agree, that's really cool. Oh, it was a typo. I still think it fits though, I'll be honest. Shaven, Skaven. All right. Moving on to the red. Just a little bit more. I always feel like my palette doesn't ever look as perfectly blended as so many other palettes that I see online. I end up just like going everywhere. I don't like stay in one spot. I probably waste a lot of this paper doing that, but my palette is like my mind and scattered everywhere. Yeah, exactly. I feel like if you want furry Skaven, you have to definitely actually paint in texture, which is hard for the everyday painter, I think. But also very good practice if you really want to learn how to do fur, I guess. Because I really like when, oh gosh, I really like when people do the texture for like for cloaks and things like that. I've painted too soon and now there's just a big half circle of non-paint. I will have to hold and get back to that. Man, your son too? That's awesome. You can have whole family tournaments. It's like the dream. little bit more black. Do it. Good luck. And if you have any tips on how to paint fur, share it, because that is not something I've done and is very intimidating too. Or a good video to recommend. Maybe I can check out Squidmar's video. I never know if this is worth it. Getting these like edges right here, right next to the armor, just gets everywhere. But I can't just leave it white. Okay, that looks better. You can kind of tell that there needs to be some color in there. Just a little water. There we go. Needed some water. I believe in you. It should be doable. Okay, it's actually lining the edge of this by accident, but it works. Thank you. I'm glad you like my night haunts. You are always your worst critic, as they say. Oh, I got it everywhere. But I also edit out when I make mistakes. Haha. Well, some. I try to keep it real, but there's so many mistakes that, you know, some are bound to get cut, you know what I mean? How am I gonna get in there? Yeah, you should just go for it. And hopefully you learn from it too, you know? Like, you give it a shot. Best case, it looks amazing, and worst case, you learn a new technique and you work through it and you improve for next time. Now I'm really excited for you giving it a shot. Okay. The whole back of her leg is red, but we can fix that. I would say it's a happy little accident, but I don't think it makes sense unless it's just like blood on the back of her leg. So we can cover it a little bit. Ooh, now it looks like it's reflection. I also really applaud people who actually spend the time to sort of restart and try it again. That either like completely strip it or like you said, go over it a second time and improve it. I feel like that takes a lot of dedication to what you're trying to do, instead of just sort of being like, whatever, it's good enough, and then moving on. Which sometimes you need to do for your own mental health, but when you have a chance and you feel fully motivated to like give it another shot, I feel like that's such a good way to learn. All right, we're just gonna leave that. Now, in the end, after trying out all the OSL, do you prefer that, doing OSL when you can? Like, is it just as easy as, say, a true metallic? Or do you only reserve it for something that you want to come out, like, really good? It's crisp. Bio strip? What is that? Is that like something you put over it so you don't paint like over the lines or something like that? Oh. Okay, I get it now. Clearly, I've never stripped anything. I'm also way too scared to do it, and that it'll ruin the model. Okay. I haven't used either. I might need to soon though. Or at least have it handy just in case. Okay, hold on. And then a little bit more of this on the edge right here, because there's a little white. And then really highlight that. Perfect. There we go. One more cloak. Making progress. Just 1 hour later. I need more black. Oh, that's nice. You rescue them from like those eBay rescue things that I see? That's really cool. I really like seeing the vintage models. I think some of them are so ridiculous looking in ways. Like, we've come so far in model making, I think. Like, they look more real and less like toys, if that makes sense. But some of them really give off action figure vibes. No, please. I'm actually really glad that you guys are like talking to each other about hobby too and like giving each other tips. I can barely keep up. I keep having to look up and be like, oh, what are they talking about now? But that's awesome. But yeah, I really like a lot of the old Tyranid models. I actually have some since my husband's father, he did like second edition. I talked about it a while ago in one of my older videos, and like when I play with Tyranids, I don't really have a good like leader unit, so I use Ol One Eye, and I got this guy that he painted, and it's just so cool, and they're so heavy, and he just looks like an action figure to me. He's also really good to fight with. But yeah, we have a bunch of these older models. I am too scared to quote unquote rescue them since it's family that painted it, and I don't know if he'll be offended. Yeah, I really like some of the sculpts of the older models. They're really fun, and they're very alien and less like monster. I don't know if that makes sense as a difference, but I think it's different. Like, they look more like alien creatures instead of these big monsters. And then, of course, he really liked neon, so a lot of our older Tyranid models are neon colors. But maybe that makes them seem more alien. Good night. Thank you for coming, and please get as much rest as you can. I'm glad you joined me, though. Have a good night. I have not seen some old Skaven models, and now I'm super curious. If I can get in there. Oh, definitely hitting my head on this. Reclining ape really got me. But now I'm super curious about these old Skaven models, and I'm gonna look them up when I'm done. I've also got some old Eldar around here somewhere. Those I do hope I can paint and like make a video for one day because they're just really cool. And now that I've been practicing so much of my space painting with like the space ghosts, I can do something maybe spacey with them too. I can't help it. I just love space themes for models. Okay, I will deep dive. Whoa. Nice. The Soul Blight, as well as the other undead one too. I love all the undead in Age of Sigmar, but the Soul Blight are really cool with all the vampires and stuff. Oh, you think they're better? Okay. Now I'm really curious. And yeah, the old Eldar are... I think I like them better than the new ones for sure. Okay, I'm sorry. The Chaos Toilet? I don't know what that is. And now I'm worried. Is that cloth? I think it is. I was gonna miss that. It's hard to tell. I definitely need to go get those goggles. All right. That's good for now. You want me to look up the Chaos Toilet? Oh gosh. I feel like I will regret it, but if you insist. Okay. I don't know why I had to focus so hard on that one, but I feel like my whole life was on the line. I don't know why. There we go. And I don't think you're going to be able to see anything behind that, so we're just going to do this front part and then this side right here. Ooh, too far. Okay, Horus Heresy, Gaunt's Ghost, and the Chaos Toilet. Alright. They'll all be on my list of, I'm guessing, things to read. I'm hoping the Chaos Toilet is a novel about the horror of the chaos and nothing else. Now you're making things up. I feel like the flashing dwarf has to be a made up thing. There's no way that's real. Unless he's flashing lights. Is it a phenomena? Is it like the chaos or like the warp? Do they call the warp the chaos toilet? Because I think that would make sense. And then when any creature uses like their psyker powers or whatever, they're just like peering into the toilet. I always assume that under these cloaks right here is just red. I guess it can be whatever I want, but it just makes more sense that it's red. Uh-oh, too far again. Easy fix. And then just a little bit right here. Horse and some bad seafood, huh? Sure, I believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. All right. We're moving on from toilets. And I'm going to ask you a question. And it is, what non-Games Workshop models have you guys painted or are painting or want to paint? Because for me, I don't know about you guys, but I really like Souls games and I really like Elden Ring, and I've been playing the DLC a lot, and I feel like something that would be really cool to paint is like a model of Mikola or of Mesmer, or of any one of those. I just have to get my 3D printer working again, because it's a little broken right now, and I'm very disappointed. But I think it can be fixed. And then doing an Elden Ring model just sounds so much fun. I, of course, definitely watch the Dark Souls models YouTuber. His stuff is great. And I just love seeing all the cool things he makes. And I'm like, man, it would be really fun to paint Elden Ring, because it's all very, you know, that dark fantasy look. You can make it very like grim dark too. So yeah, that's on my wish list of painting. Oh, yeah. And Loot Studios is also great. I had to stop their subscription for a little bit, but like 90% of the things that I print are from them. They've got some really good sculpts, I agree. Rogue Hobbies Weird Warhammer Miniature. Okay. Video. Oh, for the toilet and the door. Okay. All right. I will check it out. But yeah, I really like Loot Studios stuff. And they recently came out with a whole bunch of models for that role-playing game. I've played it before. It's the... Was it the Call of Cthulhu game? It was for some sort of role-playing game. And those look great. And of course they came out with a whole bunch of models for quote-unquote Curse of Strahd. It's not really Curse of Strahd, but it is, you know, but it is. And then of course, one day I really want to try my hand at painting like a bust and just going all in as the best thing I could possibly do, just work like really hard on it and see how it comes out. I feel like that would be a really fun challenge. I sort of did that with some friends of mine. So that model I posted the other day with the dragon head that was broken, that's actually me and a couple of friends. We all got the same model 3D printed, and then we all painted it our own way that we wanted, and then we're going to show it off when we're all done. And that's been really fun to do, just sort of a nice little break from the monotony of these armies and to really like stretch your painting limits and things like that. So I feel like a bust would be the next step in that, just sort of to see where I am and how far I've gotten, you know? Ooh, Shatterpoint. I've heard a lot of good things about that. And I've been super curious about how it plays. I haven't seen enough like playing videos, but I love all the models and then I love seeing everyone paint them. I think they always come out really nice. Cyberpunk. That's a fun RPG. And yeah, there's so many amazing sculptors out there. It still blows my mind that human beings actually like sculpt that in a 3D modeler. Like, to me it seems so difficult, and they make like such amazing sculpts. It doesn't seem real sometimes. Alright, just a little bit more on the edge here. And bam. Last cloak. Alright. Now what? I did all these cloaks, so I have to do anything else? I feel like I worked so hard on them. Oh, I didn't do their arms. I'll do those later. I missed all their arm black cloaks. That's all right. We will move on to, how did I do these? That's right. So I did almost like a blue wash on the white to make it look a little different. I feel like that's the next step. That might be the last step, and then I actually start doing some of the details. So like armor, like the metal bits, things like that. I think I just gotta decide what do I want to do next. Let's do the metallics. Why not? We'll start with the classic steel. Using the Dark Star paints. These have been really nice. Like every single one of them that I've used so far has been really nice to work with. I wish I had more chances to use some of the more unique metals, like this tarnished silver. I'm just not sure how I would use it. I feel like this would be good dry brushed onto something to sort of make it extra shiny, because it's very translucent. And I feel like that would be perfect for that. I can test it and just see why not. Okay, where to begin? Let's just do it. Ah, that's right. This white, it like pools. I don't know if you notice, but when I put my brush over it, it pools like that. And it's definitely the primer, because it doesn't do that when I put it on, like, say this black. It would go on smooth if I were just boop. See? I don't know. I don't remember what I did last time. I'm worried that what I did was actually paint all the metal over in black first and then put this on, because that is a lot of time. Time that I don't have. I really need to figure out another solution to this problem. I think for now it's just multiple coats. Thank you. I really like the red a lot on these cloaks. I think that especially in photos, it looks so nice and crisp. I'm very proud of them. Thank you. So I have my first ever game of Age of Sigmar starting not this weekend, but next weekend. And I'm really excited. I'm gonna play my Night Haunts, and we're gonna have a mini tournament. We're not going to do the smaller version of the game. I think it's called, I'm forgetting, what is it called again? You know, like not like a kill team, but like that starter kit you can get that's only like 1,000 points, and it's that exact army, and they have all the rules for it. Anyway, I'm very forgetful, if you'll find out very soon. we're gonna do like a full game, which, you know, I'm scared to jump right into it, but I want to play with like my units, you know, so it is what it is. We're gonna play. It's very excited. I'm really curious to see the differences between Age of Sigmar and 40k, because I've only ever played 40k so far. And so I wonder if it's just the exact same. Yes, Spearhead. Thank you. Yes, Spearhead. Thank you guys. Yeah, I'm curious to see the differences. Because to me in my head, I'm like, oh, it's exactly the same as Warhammer 40k, but fantasy. But I don't think that that's actually true. So I'm very curious. One, because they probably don't have nearly as many guns. And two, there's got to be a difference. I know they used to do like they would move in like these big squads and they'd have the square bases. I had an aunt who used to paint them, and I remember seeing them when I was little with their like little square bases and things like that. But I know now, obviously, that they're round based and things like that, so it'll be interesting to see. And then the biggest fear I want to overcome is potentially playing like at my local game store with people I don't know. Because right now, you know, if I don't know a rule or something like that, everyone's like, oh, you know, like, well, let's look it up, or it's this. They're very forgiving. And I'm sure the local game store is also very nice, but I'm still really nervous. But they, you know, there's one really close to me, and my friend who's starting me in Age of Sigmar plays there all the time, but he plays Age of Sigmar, and I think I'd want to do 40k. I am curious if other people go often to like play against others. If that's something like common or not common. I don't know. All right, that looks good. Last time I was there, the tables were completely packed. They had like 10 tables, and there was a person playing on each of them. So do you just play at home, or you solely do like the painting part of the hobby? Because I'm definitely more of a painter. I enjoy the game, but I don't know, you know, I don't look high level into the strategy and things like that. And I don't know if I'm the odd one out, or if that's actually more common. Because then I have other friends that are like, hey, you know, let's like split a box or something like that, but I don't like painting them. Like, you know, like I'll split it with you, but I'm not going to paint it, things like that. I just want to play. Maybe there's just a wide range. So you also just play at home with your husband or something like that? I feel like that's ideal, but then if you ever want to play against other armies to see how they play, you need to either buy a whole bunch of armies or you'll never really know, you know what I mean? And that could break the bank, potentially. Oh, I probably should have done that gold. Maybe I still can, because they had this little filigree here in gold in some of my other ones. That's all right. I'll do it for the next one. Or I'll go over it later. Because this gun is steel, but with the gold. Yeah, I worry about that too. And it's more just like, you know, I want to play with other people, other armies, but more for like the social aspect of it instead of the serious wargaming aspect of it. But I feel like it's worth a shot one day, just to be like, you know, support the game store, see what it's like, and if I absolutely hate it, then I don't have to do it ever again. Oh, are they very serious? I mean, yeah, I get that. Being worried about that if they're all super professional. Because then it's like, they're gonna bring their very, very super meta army, and you're gonna have your fun one. That's the biggest worry, that, and then they're not gonna go easy on you, and it's just gonna be sad to watch your very pretty painted minis all die. But that might be, you know, the culture might be different from game store to game store. Because my friend really likes going to our local store, and I think he's a cool guy, so I'm friends with him. So hopefully they're, you know, it's like, it depends on the environment and like the culture of the store. Oh, having a Discord for your local store is smart, and like a smart way to meet like other people that are into the hobby in your, like, roughly in the area. Maybe mine has one and I just don't know. Four stores and 2 of them are Games Workshop? Wow. Yeah, I'm sure. But you said you were in the UK, right? So they have a lot more stores there, I'm sure. I think the closest one to me is 2 hours away. The closest Games Workshop store. So if I ever, you know, it's got to be basically a whole day trip if I ever decide I want to visit it one day. Usually the local store holds, you know, most everything I would need, or say for example for like pre-orders, like this box, Scaventide one, you can just call them and see if they'll like hold a pre-order for you or something like that. Okay. One of your clubs has Age of Sigmar events? Like you mean like club, right? With like drinking and things like that? Because they definitely don't have that here. I mean, I've never heard of it, but that sounds actually really fun. Like those board game bars. We do have a board game bar by us. And that's really cool. Did I just get paint on me? Our son played the first event, and then, so now you have to join in on the next one? Yeah. Are they peer pressuring you into going? Because it sounds like the whole family has to go out and represent, you know what I mean? All right. What else? Oh, the little necklace. I think the little necklace thing I did gold. And these things in the back aren't that. So I think that's all the metal for her. Done. Wow. So like a club, like a group activity club, of course. Of course, not like a going out club. That wouldn't make any sense. I get it now. Like an activity club. That's really cool. Now I feel dumb thinking about it. But yes, team shirts would be so cute. With like each of the armies you guys play on it. And then you need to sweep them completely. And the next time they'll be like, oh, that's that family. They're too powerful. I also wonder if local stores maybe like let you donate things like terrain and stuff like that. I feel like that'd be really cool. Someone mentioned in like a comment that they were painting terrain for their local store, and I was like, that could be a really nice way to like, you know, help them and things like that. Like give something to the store. But I don't know if I just sort of show up like, hi, here's this terrain I painted, have it. If they'll be like, no, thank you. Oh. Yeah, probably. You'd probably have to find someone local to do some GW merch, you know what I mean? But there's gotta be a way to make, you know, your own custom shirt with the GW logo on it. Just don't tell them, you know? Do your guys' eyes get tired after painting for a while? I don't know if it's like this light or just in general, maybe like the time of day. I feel like it's the light though. Does that work a little better? Because when it shines like even slightly into my eyes, I feel like I can't see. Oh, there's a whole front of this gun I didn't even notice. Okay. those white. She's got these cool emblems right there. Yeah, I'll keep those white, and I'll do this part right here. And then I'll keep the one on the other shoulder gold. Now, do you know if there's a lore reason why the Adeptas Sororitas usually have like white hair? I feel like there's got to be a lore reason that I don't know about. Is it just that they're all like old? Or is it some other thing? They love the Emperor so much that it drains them of the color of their hair. Although some of them do have black hair, or like that one strip, like they've got. You know, they've got that like one strip. It's some saint lady. Do you think they dye their hair that to match the saint? Is that what you mean? Oh, interesting. That's really cool. I don't think it's Saint Celestine. I think her hair's dark. How many have I been working on? So 3 of them were older ones that I worked on years ago. These 3. And then I've got 2, 4, 6, 7. This is the 7th. Saint Google? Is that who you mean? The greatest saint who ever lived? Keep moving that. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I think she is too. Now I need to look up the saints and see where they get their hair from. These parts are metal too, right? These almost look like gun. Oh yeah, this must be ammo holders. And that's definitely metal. And if not, too late. Debbie Harry? Really? That is a cool fun fact. Alicia Dominica. Ooh. What is she? Yeah. Yeah. I just can't believe they all dye their hair. That's so funny. with like the one little stripe of black and everything. Maybe they do it as part of like a ritual or something like that, instead of them all being like at the salon together, getting ready to worship the emperor. Like, oh, it's time for me to get my new hairdo. I love the Sororitas. Oh man, I'm doing the number one rule you're not supposed to do. I'm getting paint too close to this edge here. I'm really bad at doing that. I think it would make sense that they do it as part of their like initiation or something like that, you know? But again, I'm making this up. It just sounds right in my head. I have no idea. Back of this. Oh man, we're gonna have to fact check you now? Uh-oh. I feel like it'd be interesting to find out about how he thought of a lot of like the original models and factions and things like that. Just, you know, the history behind the making of 40K. I'm leaning so much on this, I'm losing feeling in these fingers. I keep leaning forward. All right, if you guys had to pick your favorite human faction, what would it be? Mine are obviously the Sororitas, but there's some pretty cool ones. I think also the Custodes are really interesting. The Mechanicus, I really like the Mechanicus because, like, second best, I'd think. Take your time, take your time. I feel like the Mechanicus really remind me of this one manga that I read a while ago. It was this sci-fi one. It's this really dark sci-fi. I think it's called Blam. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. But they all had like these super mechanical modifications to them. They were hooked up to these machines, and it's like about this guy like going deeper and deeper into this sort of like mechanical world. And just to me, aesthetically, the Mechanicus, like, it's the first thing I think of is that specific manga. And I don't know. It's why I always sort of like them too and think about them and things like that. Man, now it makes me want to reread that. But yeah, you can hate me all you want, but I don't like ultramarines, like at all. The blue, that bright blue, hurts deeply. And I don't like it. Solely for their color scheme, I'll be honest. I mean, Space Marines are fine, but the blue, ugh, kills me. I don't even know their lore. I'm just hating on their colors right now. All right. Oh, I need to do this part. IG's Imperial Guard. I'm assuming it. Cool tanks is a good reason to like any faction. And yeah, the Custodes, like, I really like the few but many, or like, not few but many, the few but strong trope. It's another friend of mine's favorite. And I love seeing them deployed like in a game because there's like 20 models total. Whereas if you take like a swarm Tyranid army, you've got what seems like hundreds. And it's just so silly, the comparison. Although that's not the type of Tyranid army I play with. I really like I forget what it's called, but it's like when you only deploy the big monsters. I think it's called like, I don't know, like monsters, something like basically I only bring the largest units possible, like my Screamer Killer, Old One Eye, the Carnifex, like things like that. And it's just like a parade of giant monsters. I mean, there's definitely something to be said about like their style, the Imperial Guard, of, like you said, they're unwavering in the face of the horrors of the universe. That is pretty cool, thematically. Hello, King Tone. Things are going good. I finished all the cloaks, and I'm now on to painting the metal. I'll be honest, I'm going even slower now because I'm reaching the 2-hour mark, and that's when my body just decides to stop painting. But yeah, things are going well. We're talking about our favorite human faction in 40k. And I said mine, besides the Sororitas, are the Mechanicus. Because they remind me of a manga I really like. And I really think the whole, are they more man or machine style is always fun. Alright. Done there. She's got these two, I forgot. All right, and now your favorite Xenos. I would say, oh, actually that one's really hard for me. I'm pretty split because I really like the Necrons a lot. Just the whole undead pharaoh thing, or undead robot Egyptians. Clearly I really like robots. And I like playing Tyranids, but I don't know if lore-wise they do it for me. Not really. Yeah. Yeah, Necrons are pretty cool. And Tau, I've tried them and I played them, and even though I played them, I now understand the whole argument against them not doing anything melee. Like, I won that game where I played as them, but it's because the other person was like a chaos army and they just charged me and it was a slaughter, and it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. I really like their mechs though. I do really like the mechs a lot. Do you like playing them? Cause like, I think you just really gotta like guns if you enjoy playing them. Which in all fairness, you can. But like, I really, really like playing as my giant army of Tyranids, where they're just the big guys that go in and melee and just hack and slash. Ooh, orcs. Orcs are just the silliest beings in all of the 41st millennium. And I think that makes them a lot of fun. And they're fun to paint, I would think, because they're so vibrant, or they can be. And then, you change the color and it changes, how they fight and all that. Orcs is a good one. I think that's okay. I'm gonna finish with her, and then that's it. Oh no! But wait, that means it was based off his ex-wife? That's even crazier. Can you imagine being that ex-wife and like the rest of your life you see this army that's based off you in some way? And you probably don't even like the guy because he's an ex. That's crazy. Yeah, those riptides they really kick some butt. I don't know if I could say the other word, but yeah. And I like their little droids that they come with. I don't though, I will say I don't like their tanks. I think the tanks look weird, personally. I don't think it matches. Because like their mechs look really good. So I would think that their tanks would also have that sort of blocky look. Like as if they would almost look like the Tesla, the big Tesla SUV they've got now, the Cybertruck. I feel like that's what their tanks should look like, a Cybertruck. But instead, the hammerhead look, like with the strip and then the fat back, I think just doesn't match their look at all. sure that's a compliment to Debbie Harry. All right. Well, I think my eyes are turning cross-eyed. So I'm gonna stop here for the night. But for everyone who made it, thank you guys so much for joining me. I got a decent amount done. The cloaks are done. We're working on the metal and I think a couple more sessions and they should be done. And I can think about basing them somehow. But thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you got some hubbing done, or if not, that you were able to just relax and have a good time. And I'll see you next time. So bye. Have a good night.